People, deluded, I'm back again. I'm sure you would have seen in the last 24 hours Ricardo Calafiori on social media. There's been rumors he suffered significant knee injuries. Declan Rice has opened up on potential anxiety issues he faces while playing for Arsenal Football Club. And there's rumors that Ethan NWANERI is going to sign a new deal as predicted when he turns 18, especially with the progress he's been making. As you lot know, when you turn 17, you can only sign a maximum of 3-year deal. So naturally, when he turns 18, because he has all the potential in the world, other clubs have sniffed around with him. Obviously, he's been making inroads in the Arsenal first team, did very well against Leicester. When he turns 18, you're hoping that he signs a 5-year deal if you're an Arsenal fan or if you're the club. Now, if I'm Ethan's agent, I'm trying to get 3 years, maybe with an option of a fourth, just because if he continues this progress within the next 18 months from that period, the anxiety levels start. Look at Bukayo Saka. You always see him sign a 3-4 year deal. He does his business on the pitch. You get a new deal and you keep it moving, people. So yeah, let's get into everything, people. If you give me 30 seconds to share my screen with you lot, we'll get straight into it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow on the second channel, people, because it might be the end of the Deluded Gooners made channel. Over 9,000 videos. Started this in 2016. You know, I'm currently fighting some copyright strike issues, people. If we're unsuccessful, the channel's no more. And I said that without crying, people. So yeah, the only thing we can do is not cry, but you know, guard against that. So make sure you're following DG Sports Views. Again, information's in the description. We've got around 1 point something K followers. So yeah, make sure you're over there. Now, you would have seen team news and ticks say there are some concerns that Ricardo Calafiori injured his knee in stoppage time yesterday. There's reports he was in tears after the game. Now, for me personally, I have no feelings around ITKs. I mean this in a respectful way. I mean no disrespect. But when you're claiming to be, not even that he's claiming, but when you're doing this ITK thing, please, rather than be the first to come out with info, make sure that it's correct, people, because it sparks fans into fanfare. Obviously, it damages your credibility. Now, obviously, he might not be wrong. We all saw the celebrations. We've all seen after the game, Calafiori was in some sort of knee bandage thing, probably as a precaution, people. So yeah, man, people need to do a bit better in that regards, people. It does annoy me when people do things like this. He then updated and said Calafiori's scan showed no significant damage. Thankfully, there was worries after the game, but fears have been erased. I don't know if there's any minor injury, but thankfully there isn't a big one. This is what you lot are paying for, people. Who cares what the ITK say? The main man, Mikel Arteta, is who we need to hear from. And in his press conference, he said there are 2 players that are in contention that we have to review today. We didn't do any training sessions yesterday. Ricardo Calafiori was a bit emotional after the game, so let's see how he is today. So that seems like, you know, at least he's in contention to train and assess. So even if he misses out against PSG, which I don't want to be the case, I'm sure some of you lot have seen Dembele and Luis Enrique have had a bit of a bust up. Dembele will not be playing any part of the PSG game against Arsenal. What a game that would be. 2 Spanish managers, you know, one's a La Liga winner, Champions League winner, all those things Enrique's done. Arsenal, we've got 1 point on the board in the Champions League. I would love to have 4, provided we win, people. So yeah, where Benjamin White and Calafiori are concerned, you know, Benjamin White, who missed out against Leicester, for me that was a thing of, you know what, we're gonna leave you for now, and then we're going to see what you can do against PSG. And ironically, if there's one area of a football pitch us Arsenal fans feel somewhat confident about, it's our defensive depth. And that's probably the one which being strained the most. You've got Zinchenko out. Tommy Asu still ain't played no part this season. We've had to tread very carefully with Timber coming back from his ACL and big him up because he's come back from a big ACL, had a disrupted preseason, and he's done well. Calafiori's had his own injury issues of his own. We all know Benjamin White's a Spartan to the point where, you know, Arsenal sometimes have to protect him for himself. He's known to lie about not being injured, but people say footballers don't care. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Zinni's technically out. Don't expect Tierney to be any significant part of the team, but Tierney's still out. And you could argue that Kieran Tierney probably would have started against Bolton and at least would have been on the bench with these injury issues, people. Scrolling all the way back, no news. We have a training session this afternoon. We have to review a few players, but overall, especially anyone returning, there's nothing to give back, which also is optimum news for us. On our first Champions League home game this season, which for me in the Prem, as you would have seen with the Leicester game, I think there's too much drama at the Emirates. I prefer us away from home. I think we're a bit less glamorous. We just take care of business. I think we're too entertaining for the neutrals at the Emirates in the Premier League. In the Champs, I'm a bit nervous when we go away from home. Whether we win, lose, or draw, I'm a lot more comfortable with games at the Emirates, if that makes sense, people. We're looking forward to it. These are the kind of nights that we want to experience, and we want to and want to have against an unbelievable opponent. We're just ready for it. Obviously, Mikel Arteta spent time at PSG as a young player, and obviously, you know, they had a bunch of great players there, people. So that probably why he didn't do anything of significance. We'll scroll past that. On the momentum of winning games like against Leicester, it shapes the character and the body of the team that they have the certainty that they can win in any context and adapt to very different contexts during matches. Even Arsenal haters have to admit, whether Arsenal go and win a Prem or do anything, we've shown that we can, you know, when things go wrong, we can do a thing. We did shoot ourselves in the foot. It could have been a lot better. It could have been a lot worse. The Champions League demands that you can pretend to play against this kind of opposition and dominate for 95 minutes, but it does not happen at this level. So you have to be really good in other phases as well to stay in the game, be comfortable, and still always have the belief and intention to win it. We all know the Champions League nights at the Emirates are special. We all know he has a great relationship with Luis Enrique. Big up Timber and Calafiori. I mean, I think I speak for every Arsenal fan. You know, you look at the Cedrics, the Bellerins, the Chambers, the Rob Holdings, the Pablo Maris, the Socrates. I think David Luiz was a better player, but David Luiz wasn't someone that 10 games you knew what he's going to get from him. We had some volatile defenders, some defenders that just wasn't good. And now some clubs would be happy with just one Timber, one Calafiori, one Benjamin White, one Tomiyasu. We've got great depth defensively. And notice how I've been talking about the fullbacks. Saliba, Gabriel, we're laughing, people. So, yeah, we missed Urim for 11 months and Ricky wasn't here. They are two players that have a football brain, the intelligence, the quality and the adaptability to occupy different spaces, whether attacking or defending, which we all see with our eyes, which is great. That gives the team a different dynamic and makes it unpredictable for the opponent to defend certain ways. Both are huge personalities too, which I love. And again, I don't really want to praise Arsenal for this because you should be doing it anyways. But has anyone noticed, you know, completely off topic as well, people, please don't go on Sky Sports because you would have seen in the Leicester game, Ndidi kicked the ball away, letter of the law, you're supposed to get a yellow card. The same Dermot Gallagher and these referees, people that sit here and say, you know, it's the letter of the law, yada, 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 when it's Arsenal footballers, they've come out and said, boy, if we booked every player for that, there'd be no players on the pitch, basically. I know Arsenal fans, I'm not going to get into it, but staying on task. I don't want to praise the club for this. But as anyone deeps, yeah, you know, whether you think Zinchenko, Jesus were good, whatever you have to say about Timber, Calafiori, we haven't seen Mikel Moreno yet. But have you noticed in the last 2 years, maybe 3, we've been signing players and they've been hitting the ground running, which I love. Even David Raya. David Raya's fragilities for me could be attributed to the noise around Ramsdale and Raya. But you get the point, people. Lovely stuff, people. And I don't think he's wrong. They have to have what. And I think this is funny because when he speaks about Zinchenko, he doesn't say anything like this, Mikel Arteta. They have to have one thing in common. They have to love defending first. He's never said that about Zini. Go and look at the pre-comments because they are defenders. Then after they have the qualities to add, that's great as well. Playing fullbacks, natural foot, especially when we play inverted attacking midfielders or wingers. Many times for the flow of these units, it's incredibly important. And you can see that. We know Timber's character off the pitch is amazing. We all know it's taking him a while, but he's doing his thing. We respectfully to Mikel Arteta, but we all know, how great PSG are and they're a serious team and they do dominate every phase of play. So we're going to have to do a thing. On Calafiori again, how willing he is. The moment I spoke with him on the phone for the first time, he wanted to come here. And you see it, man. I mean, Calafiori, for me, there's little minor tweaks and things he could do defensively. Sometimes, like for the second Leicester goal, not aware of runners against City. I think he could get closer consistently to Salvinho. There's little minor tweaks in his game, but the pros outweigh the negatives. I don't expect him to be perfect. I love how his drive to want to go forward, his drive to want to make a difference. Pardon my language. I love his shithousery. We have seen him against Bolton play centre half. I like everything I'm seeing from Calafiori. I love the guy really and truly, and I think he's been one of our better players, if I'm honest with you, man. So, yeah, and when obviously clubs are going to come out and say things like he always wanted Arsenal, he always wanted to play for Arsenal. And I take that with a pinch of salt because I don't know if the Real Madrid and Juventus rumours were true, would you have done that? But I do see that. We all know he's very likeable. He's got energy. He's got aura. He's a fighter, people. And Arteta has to have a great relationship with him. Dembele is not going to be in the squad. Arteta said, we just got the news and we don't know if it's true or not. We're going to prepare like we always do with every possibility and let's see. There are many other options. I mean, we're going to have to keep a close eye on Bacola for PSG. The young Frenchman is doing his thing, people. So, yeah, we've gone over Mikel Arteta's press conference. We've gone over the Calafiori stuff. Declan Rice has dismissed suggestions Arsenal are cheating in Premier League games. We're not cheating. We're not going out to intentionally injure people. We're doing the dark arts thing, which for me, I don't have an issue. He said, I think we do a little bit of work on the delivery of set pieces when we can. He said, obviously, with the game schedule, it's really tough to get onto the grass and really practice. So we just have internal discussions about what we're going to try to do. Look, there's going to be conversations about us blocking and making fouls, but I think the goals we have scored from set pieces this season, I don't think there's been one foul involved. Sometimes people look for a foul, or people are mentioning that we are cheating in a way of set pieces because we're blocking, but it's part of the game. And for me, there is going to be a time where the penny drops and teams somehow find solutions to defending from set pieces, but that's not our fault. Arsenal are an open book. We know we're great defensively. We know we've got individual quality players. And you know there's been an emphasis in the last 2-3 years on set pieces. Set pieces are the new penalties. And it completely went above my head. Technically, we scored via a set piece again against Leicester. Teams have to find a way to mitigate against that. We have to keep evolving, people. I would like to see more from general play, although we did score 4 goals in our last game. Teams do it to us, and we're just trying to exploit other teams' weaknesses. We found a way to do that again against Leicester, which I don't think any Arsenal fan cares. Declan Rice has admitted his anxiety levels are through the roof while playing for Arsenal, with the pressure to win every game in the search of trophies. As it should. Pressure's a privilege. It either makes diamonds or it bursts his pipes. Decide what you want to do, people. He said, if you want to win the Premier League cups and titles and compete at the top, you need to be at your best and you need to win. Otherwise, the pressure mounts. When that second goal went in for them, obviously one thought was, we can't lose this game. We have to keep going. At the end, it was a sigh of relief because we won. That was probably the most comfortable we've been in the first half all season in terms of passing and dominating the ball, which I do think led to an air of complacency. And it was a tale of two halves for both teams. If you're Leicester, you're probably sitting there and thinking how you approached the game in the second half, or when the first goal went in, maybe things would have been different. For Arsenal, obviously, the second half is not on, especially for a team that's great defensively. Take nothing away from Leicester, but it was too easy for them, people. So there's lots of positive to take, but still so much to improve on. And as the season goes on, I'm sure you're going to keep seeing the best of that. And it's crazy because, you know, we were good in the final third. Defensively, we conceded 2 cheap goals. Generally, we're quite spot on defensively. We do score the goals, but you do want a bit more from us in terms of open play, swagger and whatnot. So we still need to marry the two together. So yeah, people said, look, we always believe in what we do. That comes from the manager that we keep pushing. We've got a set of lads on the pitch who are ready to do anything to win. I'm here for that. That hasn't been there for a while at this football club. On Martinelli, Declan Rice said a goal, assist, probably 2 more chances he had. He works every day in training on those type of chances. It was only a matter of time before he got on the score sheet, so I'm delighted for him, which is great stuff, people. Gabriel Jesus is still being linked with a shock move and return to Brazilian football. I don't believe if he is to leave, he will leave in January, people. We have covered this before. Palmeiras apparently are willing to snuff up 40 million euros, in which that surely entices Arsenal, even though you take a hit, but you're going to need him for at least a year. In the summer, it's another thing because, you know, he got 30 seconds against Leicester. His stock has fallen. Sterling's come in and for whatever reason was used as a better option. You know, Trossard and Martinelli are probably ahead of him in the pecking order, getting nowhere near Kai Havertz for that striking position. You have played on the right-hand side, but you're only going to do that, God forbid, if something happens with Bukayo Saka, people. So it all depends. We've gone over them comments there, so we won't go on that. With Mikel Arteta. Once again, Luis Enrique and Dembele have had an argument after PSG's 3-1 win over Rennes. Enrique didn't like it, so Dembele, PSG's best player this season, is not in the squad. Big bollocks from the manager. Zero tolerance. I respect it, if I'm completely honest with you guys, people. You look at our next 6 fixtures as we move into October. September was great. They said this is what's going to make or break our season. We dealt with Bolton. Courageous point against City, where we probably dropped 2 points and a point gain, depending on how you look at that. Dealt with Spurs, drama, but we won against Leicester and we got a draw against Atalanta. Our next 6 fixtures, you know, we're at home for a while, which isn't really said. PSG, Southampton, we then go away to Bournemouth. We got Shakhtar the next at the Emirates. We have Liverpool at the Emirates, and we end the month of October with Preston. Now, for me, feels like there's going to be a bit of drama. Like, for me personally, I think you need at least 3 wins. It's respectfully to the teams in the Premier League. I do think you have to beat Southampton at home. I know Ramsdale's going to turn into a prime Buffon. Bournemouth's a tricky test away from home. Areola's playing good football, but you do need to go win that. Shakhtar the next after coming through from Atalanta and assuming whatever happens in the PSG game. Them games there, you have to win in the champs. Liverpool at the Emirates, boy, it's a 6-pointer because Liverpool are still in and around where the title shouts are concerned. And Preston will be very different. I do think we'd have to name a stronger sort of 11 than we did against Bolton, but Preston away in the League Cup is going to be difficult. Now, we hope Mikel Moreno and Odegaard and Tomiyasu and all these guys are fit. We hope the existing players stay fit, people. But so far, so good. We're still unbeaten this month. On Odegaard's manager, Arteta has spoken on him and Moreno and said, we're not expecting any player to return in the next 24 to 48 hours. I do think Moreno will be involved against Southampton. We've gone over Calafiori already, people, so I won't bore you lot with that. Finally, allegedly, Football Transfers has said Arsenal to hand Ethan dream 18th birthday present with contract extension. Apparently, we're close to securing a new long-term contract for the 17-year-old. Apparently, we've been locked in talks with the teenager over a 5-year extension to his current deal and are thought to be close to reaching a conclusion. Does not turn 18 until the 21st of March 2025. I mean, he's playing for Arsenal Football Club at 18. It's got all of it, people. I mean, if I was in this scenario, I might even lose focus, man. His DMs must be crazy. But yeah, man, we want to keep him. Next up, where Haylen's concerned, between him and Miles Lewis-Skelly, we've got some great players that can make a mark and be involved in the first team in some capacity, which, you know, they said Arteta doesn't like academy players and young players, so he's kind of proving them wrong. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Against PSG, I am a bit nervous. You know, unusually, I'm a bit more optimistic than I would be against PSG. I think we might do it. That being said, it's not going to be easy, and you need to defend a lot better than you did against Leicester. I know we got 4 goals, but if we've gone in for the kill and we find ourselves a goal or 2 up against PSG, you need to get 3s and 4s. You need to kill the game. In football, you need to kill games before they kill you. So with that being said, people, that's everything we've got to discuss. Let me know in the comments what you feel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notification bells because we will be watching Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain together. Peace.
Like